Look, someone's been lying to you, and who exactly? BlackRock. I really think we need to dive into this right now, especially when so many people are scratching their heads wondering what the heck is going on with BlackRock and XRP. What's their game plan here? We're going to break it all down for you. First thing we need to talk about, the case is actually done. On August 7th, we got word that both parties filed a joint dismissal of the appeals. It's officially over. So here's what we've got. The SEC and Ripple just filed a joint dismissal of their appeals, officially wrapping up this nearly 5-year legal nightmare. And now everyone's going absolutely crazy saying, that's it. BlackRock's about to file for an XRP ETF. The odds are going through the roof. Check this out. Ripple ETF approval odds just shot up to almost 90%. And get this, that's coming from Bitcoin.com news, a Bitcoin maximalist outlet. Even they're saying, holy crap, look at these XRP ETF odds hitting 90%. But here's the kicker. On August 7th, right after Ripple and the SEC decided to end this whole mess, Polymarket shows a massive 20-point spike in ETF confidence in just 24 hours. People are asking if this is finally Ripple's breakout moment. And honestly, everyone's scratching their heads wondering what happens next. I mean, we've been glued to this lawsuit for 5 whole years. We kept asking ourselves, is Ripple going to win this thing? Remember when it first got announced, everyone panicked thinking this is going to kill XRP. This is going to destroy Ripple. I specifically remember that moment. Then after a few weeks and months, we started wondering what kind of mess this would actually create. And now we know exactly what chaos it caused back in 2021. Look, it basically crippled XRP during that whole bull run, right? But here's the thing. We actually missed out on so much more than just that. I'm talking about Ripple's expansion here in the US, XRP getting adopted domestically, stuff we should have been seeing all along. There's been a ton happening behind the scenes that we just never got to see because of this whole SEC mess. Now that the lawsuit's finally done, man, we're looking at everything. Institutional adoption, partnerships, you name it. But honestly, the biggest thing on everyone's radar has got to be ETFs and just general market expansion for XRP. That's what us XRP holders are really watching, you know. And get this, Paul Barron saying XRP ETF watch, why 2025 could be the year. The numbers don't lie. Check it out. XRP ETF approval odds just shot up from 70% all the way to 90% plus on Polymarket after the SEC settlement. And here's why everyone's getting so pumped about it. First off, we've got legal clarity now. That 4-year SEC nightmare is finally over. Then there's the institutional interest, and I mean serious interest. We're talking Bitwise, 21 Shares, Canary Capital, Grayscale, Franklin Templeton. They've all filed applications. This list is actually pretty huge when you look at it. And the market's maturing too. XRP futures launched back in May, which shows we're getting that regulated market development we needed. Boom, business analysts just cranked up those XRP ETF approval odds to 85% for 2025. And we're looking at decisions dropping somewhere between Q3 and Q4. When this puppy gets the green light, oh man, we're about to see institutional money pouring in like a waterfall, liquidity going through the roof, prices getting way more stable, and suddenly your grandma can buy XRP through her regular old broker. And here's the kicker. People are throwing around $60 price targets by 2030. You know what? That's not even moonshot territory when you break it down. We've got a solid 5-year runway here, so why not? But honestly, what's got me fired up is watching XRP transform into this absolute beast of an investment. It's like watching the quiet kid in class suddenly become the coolest person in school. If you're still ignoring XRP at this point, you're either ride or die Bitcoin, bleeding Ethereum blue, or you just have some weird grudge against XRP. No judgment, but pick your poison. The real question burning in my brain, though, what's BlackRock cooking up behind closed doors? Because literally everyone's throwing their hat in the XRP ETF ring now. I mean, even Trump's Truth Social jumped in back in July with their own crypto blue chip ETF filing. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Crow, and XRP all bundled up nice and neat. And get this, it's not just an American party anymore. Over in Japan, SBI Holdings is gunning to launch the first Bitcoin XRP ETF straight onto the Tokyo Stock Exchange. This train's going worldwide, baby. But hold up, they're still waiting for that FSA green light first. This whole thing got announced on the 6th, which was huge news. And let me tell you, SBI is absolutely head over heels for Ripple and XRP. Now, here's where it gets juicy with BlackRock. Nate Goroshi dropped this gem. Yeah, I think BlackRock was sitting back waiting to see how this all played out before filing for their iShares XRP ETF. Call me out if I'm dead wrong here. His take? Look, it makes absolutely zero sense for them to just ignore every crypto beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. What are they trying to say? That only those two will ever be worth anything? That's a pretty bold stance. And man, if I'm sitting in BlackRock's shoes right now looking at the numbers, it's a no-brainer. I've already got my Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs locked and loaded. Bitcoin's crushing it with 91% gains. Ethereum sitting pretty at almost 65% for the year. But then there's XRP sitting at a jaw-dropping 460% gain and holding down that number 3 spot in crypto. If I'm BlackRock, I'm seeing dollar signs everywhere. This thing's marketable as hell, which means serious money-making potential. Total slam dunk move. I'm totally vibing with Nate's logic here. But then, plot twist, we get this update where BlackRock straight up says, nah, no plans right now for a spot XRP or even Solana ETF. Nate's response? This is going to be one of those moves they look back on and go, oops, we'll see who's right. So BlackRock comes out swinging with this official statement. They've got Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs rolling, but nope, no plans for XRP or Solana ETFs. Their spokesperson told the block on Friday, crystal clear, we're not filing for XRP or Solana ETFs right now. How much do I actually believe this? About as much as I believe my GPS when it says recalculating for the 5th time. Basically 0. Here's why I think they're playing games with us. These guys have a history of saying one thing and doing the complete opposite. I'm convinced they've already got plans brewing for both spot XRP and Solana ETFs. They're just not ready to show their cards yet. This is classic BlackRock playbook stuff. Remember when they were out there trashing Bitcoin left and right? Bitcoin's garbage. It's worthless. Don't waste your money on this digital nonsense. Then what happens? 2022 rolls around and suddenly they're like, hey, we want a Bitcoin ETF. Same thing with tokenization. They spent years absolutely roasting crypto. Then out of nowhere, they're the biggest cheerleaders for turning everything into tokens. So when BlackRock tells us something, yeah, I'm automatically thinking they're planning the exact opposite. I'd bet good money they're already working on that XRP ETF behind the scenes. Think about it from their perspective. They're in the business of making money, period. XRP ETF is basically a money printing machine waiting to happen. Why would they leave that cash on the table? Let's break this down logically for a second. First off, we just went through that massive list of companies already filing for XRP ETFs. It's like everyone's racing to get in line. But here's what's really wild. There's also this huge list of companies wanting to stack XRP in their treasury reserves. Check this out. We're looking at almost $1 billion worth of demand here. That's not just regular folks buying XRP on their phones. That's institutional money. Enterprise-level players and retail all going absolutely bonkers for this thing. If I'm sitting in some asset management office right now looking at these numbers, my brain's screaming, we need to get on this train now. An ETF is literally the perfect vehicle to cash in on this insane demand. Here's the thing about BlackRock. They're definitely not stupid, and they're absolutely not going to spill their real plans to us. Why would they tip their hand when they can keep everyone guessing while they quietly get their ducks in a row? My hot take, we're going to see BlackRock drop an XRP ETF announcement, and I'm thinking it happens within the next month. They're just waiting for the perfect moment to make their move. I'm calling it 1 to 3 months max before we see this ETF drop, especially with Ethereum starting to heat up again. XRP is about to have its moment, and yeah, it's already crushed a 400% plus run this past year, but this next wave, we're talking $5-6 minimum. Honestly, I think it goes way higher than that. Here's the genius part. When XRP really starts popping off, that's exactly when BlackRock's going to swoop in with their ETF. Why? Because the marketing's going to be doing itself. They won't need to spend a dime on ads when mainstream media is talking about XRP every single day. It's like free publicity on steroids. But here's where it gets really interesting. Check out this financial markets quality conference thing from Subjective Views. BlackRock's still saying no XRP ETF right now, but guess who's on the same conference call? Stuart Arati, and he's literally chatting with BlackRock's CIO for ETF and index investments. Oh, and get this, there's also the deputy managing director from the IMF on there. How's that for a coincidence? Look, here's the real deal though. There's going to be so much noise and chatter trying to throw us off track right now. People saying this, experts claiming that, rumors flying everywhere. This is where you've got to tune out all the static and just focus on the cold hard facts. Exactly. We've got to look at the actual data points staring us in the face here. BlackRock spotted the Bitcoin gold mine, then they jumped on Ethereum. So what's the logic in pretending XRP doesn't exist when it's sitting right there begging to be monetized? And timing-wise, man, we couldn't ask for better circumstances. We're smack dab in phase 2, where Ethereum's leading the charge, but that's about to flip over to altcoin season any day now. The lawsuit drama's finally in the rearview mirror. ETF approval odds are shooting through the roof. It's like all the stars are lining up perfectly. But here's what's really got me pumped. Think about what this means for XRP adoption, not just here in the US, but globally. Institutional money's about to flood in like crazy. I guarantee there are big players right now having boardroom meetings about how they can tap into Ripple's network and start using XRP for their payment flows. And remember what JP Morgan said? They basically called it. XRP is going to become extremely valuable once all this legal nonsense gets sorted out. Well, guess what? We're there now. The lawsuit's done, the coast is clear, and suddenly everyone's realizing what we've been saying all along. It's like watching all the dominoes perfectly lined up, just waiting for that first one to fall and set everything in motion. Bank of America straight up said they're ready to jump on XRP's on-demand liquidity the second that lawsuit wrapped up. And boom, here we are. All these institutional heavyweights have been basically chomping at the bit, telling everyone exactly what they're planning to do with XRP once the legal roadblock got cleared. Well, the roadblock's gone. The only thing standing in XRP's way just vanished into thin air. So what happens next? From a pure market play, from a let's make some serious money angle, an XRP ETF is like the most obvious slam dunk in the history of slam dunks. There's no way BlackRock's going to sit on the sidelines and watch everyone else cash in on this gold mine. I'm totally on board with Johnny Deaton and Nate here. BlackRock's going to file for that ETF and soon. Give it a month, maybe stretch it to 3 tops, but I'd bet money we see this happen before New Year's Eve. And when it drops, man, that's going to be rocket fuel for XRP like we've never seen before. All the pieces are falling into place perfectly. Anyway, that's my take on where this whole thing's headed. What a wild ride it's been. And honestly, I think we're just getting started. If you enjoyed this, definitely smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn those notifications on. I've got tons more free content coming your way. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Peace out.